People of God, y'all doing all right? Good, it's me. I'm so excited to be here today. We have a very difficult subject matter to talk about. We've done this show before a couple times, and it's never pleasant to do because it brings up things that can cause people to go back in time. It can trigger someone into a place, take them to a place that they don't want to go. For those of you who are sensitive to domestic violence subject matters, you may not want to watch it. But if you have someone that you feel could benefit from this, you can have them to come over and watch old dear Uncle Sir try his best to go through this subject. Lately, there's been a lot of attacks and killings of our African American sisters and moms and aunties and daughters. And it's been quite disturbing. And I have been tearing up watching the news, seeing this kind of abuse towards our sisters. And it's quite, makes you ponder and wonder what kind of demonic activity may be happening in our atmosphere, and what is it with these men that causes this outburst, and could there be some mental health issues, which there are. It has been proven that a few of them have been mentally ill, and I believe others have some kind of demonic possession, and I also believe that two things can happen too at the same time. All right. I'll see you in about 60.
Reporting live 7 days a week, always on time, but this time is not free. Sir Walter Jones, always on fleek. Latest trending topics have you jumping out your seat. Controversial subject, others can't touch it. Community full of people throwing rocks from the bunker. Politics, finance, music and religion, stirring up the pot, but they bring healing to the village.
Son named Walter, daughter named Rebecca. Grew up on the south side, who know do it better. Sir Walter Jones from the Tribeca. He got something to say, put your hands together.
Sir Walter Jones, hey.
Sir Walter Jones,
Hey.
yeah. Come on in, the water's fine. The water's fine. Ooh, he's got something to say.
Come on in, boys. The water is
Yes! Ow! Hello, everybody. So Water Jones Show. I'm here. It is the Midday Connection, baby. Come on in, Waterfound. Y'all doing all right? Good. Yeah, I'm not expecting a whole lot of people here today based off of the subject matter. That's number one. Number two, YouTube typically shadow ban and block and don't issue, don't let a lot of folks see subject matters like this. It is just the way they try to police subject matter. And I get sometimes you have to protect people, you have to protect children as well. And they be trying to help us. A lot of us don't need their help, but they do their best to help us by blocking it from people who may need the information. So if you only see just a few people here, that's one reason why. All right. I saw a post here by Talbot Swan. He is a Church of God in Christ bishop. And he posted this here. These four women here: Nancy Bowen, let's see, Monica Scott, Tammy McCullum, and Serena Fairfax. April 1, April 6, April 16. And let's see here. What we're witnessing is not just a series of isolated incidents. It's a crisis we cannot ignore. In just days, we've seen black women lose their lives at the hands of men who once claimed to love them. And in Shreveport, we saw something even more horrifying: black children murdered and black women shot in an act of violence that should shake the conscience of every one of us. It should. This is not manhood. This is pathology. It is a sickness of patriarchy, the need to dominate, obsession to control, the inability to resolve conflicts without violence, and the sick belief that a woman's life is disposable when a man's ego is wounded. And far too often, we look away. Malcolm X told us plainly the most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. And if we're honest, that lack of protection is coming from the very men who should be standing in the gap. We cannot keep blaming systems while ignoring our own behavior. We cannot keep protesting injustice in the streets while excusing it in our homes. We cannot keep calling out white supremacy while being silent about the violence happening in our own families and communities. I want to focus on that one right there. Black men must hold other black men accountable, not privately or quietly, but clearly and consistently, because protecting black women is not optional and protecting black children is not negotiable. If we don't confront this, we are complicit in it. Enough is enough. This social justice, social gospel that these black men and women, the liberation theologies that's been preached, marching in the streets, Black Lives Matter, manpower, and Million Man March. It's a whole lot of events that black men and women join, but the conversation about domestic violence hardly ever come up. Hardly ever come up. And I'm saddened by that. That now, let me see this right here. Someone said, "Man, where is it?" Somebody said, "Thank you for speaking. Thank you for speaking to the issue because there are times when men will only listen to other men. You should be aware that the AI graphic picture that victims does not accurately represent." That's not the one I'm looking for. This comment section should be filled with men actively discussing how to address and correct this issue. Black men must be willing to hold one another accountable. That's the bottom line. It's time to move beyond the boys club, the unwritten man code, and any mindset that protects harmful behavior over real responsibility and accountability. And this person, Cassandra, is right. And some men will deflect and say, yeah, but the women, what about the woman? What about the sisterhood is broken? What about? We can't keep blaming women for deflecting when we do the same thing. We just can't keep doing that, brothers. You have been put on top. God made you first, pulled Eve from you. There's a pecking order in creation. How long are you going to sit up under a woman's skirt? Now, Roland Martin did something yesterday. I didn't watch all of it because it was just too much going on. But I did see the first few minutes of it. I'm looking for it on YouTube. I didn't save it, but it should be in the not the archives. What do you call it? Right here, Justin Fairfax murder, suicide. That case right there disturbed me to the core. That one and the man who murdered all his children. Where is that one? It's just so much, y'all. There's just so much going on. I just don't know how. I don't even know what to do with this show. It's just so much. This one right here. Louisiana shooter Shamar Elkins disturbing remarks before killing his 7 children and their cousin. Y'all, this is bigger. For those of you who are Christians, those of you, I think some of you are probably overly spiritual.
Folks,
on some matters.
this morning.
You're overly spiritual on some matters. I will say you're overly spiritual on some matters. There's no well balance there. Don't erase the spiritual end of this, but don't erase the natural physical end of this, the mental end of this. It's okay to be able to delve into both of them. It really is. When I did the Tina and Teddy Campbell show, I was extremely upset and righteously indignant towards both of them. Both of them was toxic. Teddy was toxic for cheating on her over and over again, and she was toxic for how she responded to it. And we all just need to sit down with somebody and get some serious counseling. I wish the church had not damaged the saints by telling them they don't need to go to one, by calling it, and then you call them shrinks. I know the world calls them shrinks, but you've adopted it. And you say you don't need to go to no shrink. You need to go to Dr. Jesus. How you know that Dr. Jesus didn't inspire a man or a woman to get their license and go through school to be able to sit and talk with us? Why is it that a medical doctor can do that, but the psychologist and psychiatrist can't, and be led by God? I just these picks and choosings, this drives me crazy. So let's see what Roland was saying in his introduction.
I got a phone call regarding some business, and I was going to go back to sleep, and I said, don't check your text messages, because you know it's going to keep you up. Well, I did, and I saw literally 8 to 10 different text messages that had Justin Fairfax in it, and I immediately thought, my goodness, did something happen to him? Was it an accident? What went on? And then when I opened those text messages, I saw the news that it was a murder-suicide, that the former lieutenant governor of Virginia, Justin Fairfax, shot and killed his wife, Serena, several times in their home in Northern Virginia. Police are calling it a murder-suicide. Fairfax County Police Chief Kevin Davis said the couple's divorce more than likely triggered this incident.
So far, what we know is probably what you all know, and I don't think it's a secret that there's been a divorce proceedings that have been ongoing. From what I understand, in this early stage, former Lieutenant Governor Fairfax was recently served some paperwork associated with an upcoming court proceeding that apparently led to this incident last night. Both of their children, teenagers, the boys older than the girl, were in the house when it happened. So that's horrible news for the family. Certainly a traumatic event for those children to live through. But we know that it all kind of culminated last night when Justin Fairfax shot several times, and killed his wife, ran to a different part of the home, and then killed himself with the same firearm.
Those children gonna need all the help they can get. They're gonna live a long time with this visual in their minds. They're gonna need good treatment, both from someone who's a crisis counselor who can really talk to them over and over and over again, and then they're gonna need some spiritual advice as well. Both sides. They're going to need it. I need you to know that very powerful people, men, we're talking about men today, very powerful men, those in upper echelon, and they are CEOs, they are politicians, as you see here. They are bishops. They are multimillionaires, and they struggle with mental illnesses, anger problems. They don't know how to manage their anger, and a lot of this is stemmed from their upbringing. Again, I keep bringing up the Kaiser people with this adverse childhood experience study that they did, and it wasn't dealt with, or they didn't see it. Because they didn't see it, some of these children slipped through the cracks. I'm going to show you all my books here. Some of the children slip through the cracks, and they grow and they grow and they grow. I mean, and terrorizing women as they're coming up. And women are not, some women like it, and then they react, or they attack upon their attack. And they don't really see how dangerous it is. The provoking this kind of anger is very dangerous. And so a person who hasn't gotten control of this, he'll go through life for many years, and it may seem like it's just a scuffle or a fight. They're having lovers' quarrels. But as he gets older and he doesn't get the proper help that he needs, those lovers' quarrels can turn out to be a difference between life and death for her. I just played it for you right here. That brother, this didn't happen overnight. This is built up aggression, and I'm sure behind closed doors they had some serious fights, and he couldn't take it anymore. And so those children lost both the mother and the father. You all, I'm only speaking from what I've seen and from my own experiences dealing with people. Anything above that is above my pay grade, and you're going to have to talk to someone who's more equipped in this kind of stuff. I'm going to put a phone number on the screen here. I'm going to give you some resources here to consider going to, and I'm going to even have my sister to talk to you all. Okay? All right? Jesus be a healer through therapy. I've been in therapy for 4 years. My life has changed. I needed you here, Lynette. I needed you here. I think I saw Dr. K. I think I saw her in the comments section as well. I need the professionals here, and I need those who have been helped here on this show, so it doesn't seem like this church boy just talking. All right, that's why I'm trying to bring out resources from people who do this peer review study and information. You saw your therapist today, Sherry Lynn. I love that. Yeah. Amen, Lynette. It's good to see you. I love that. For the saints to say, I had a therapist. I had one too. And I really enjoyed that session. I have several sessions. I really enjoyed it because I was able to talk to somebody who wasn't going to judge me for the things that happened to me in past years. Wasn't going to look at me strange, throw oil on me. Throw oil. Said, I've seen men justify the LA man's actions. Oh yeah, you're going to see that. The world is wicked. Kevin Samuels was a very popular man who had a YouTube channel. I think he had a Facebook page as well. And he had a lot of followers. I mean, millions of people followed and listened to his program as he tried to help He started off almost pure, and then he just went at black women, especially he went at them, and those silly women would call in the station so that he could call them all kind of nasty stuff, and they were helping him. And those women would subscribe and watch him faithfully every night. We are our own problems. Y'all, we are our own problems. They're calling it family fatigue and have stated if women can be justified with postpartum, men can use family. Yeah, wow, what an excuse. The last language a man speaks is violence. That guy was correct. He is correct. Typically, violence happens after he feels that he did all he could do to shut her up. Y'all, I'm going to use some boldness and language here that you're just going to have to deal with. Men gets to a point where he can't take it anymore because his speaking, he thinks he is being sensible through whatever his language is, and she needs to obey his language. And when she doesn't, then he must resort to violence. He feels this, or sometimes he can't stop it. So it happens just naturally because she's got on his last nerve. This person obviously don't have Holy Spirit in them. The Holy Spirit quails. All right. Holy Spirit causes a person to think before they react. All right. That's what Holy Spirit does. I told you all my ex-wife wanted me to be violent, but I couldn't because Holy Spirit had kept me at bay. I couldn't even raise my voice because that wasn't in me. And number two, my father never did that to my mother. I lived in our house for 17 years. I lived in our house for 17 years. And I never seen my father argue with my mother, never raise his voice. I never. 17 years, y'all? And it wasn't just me. They raised 9 children, and all my brothers and sisters said the same thing. They never saw it. So there would be no excuse for the Lawrence C. Jones Jr. boys to ever raise their voices at their women or hit them. So I haven't heard of any of my brothers or from any of my sisters. I've never heard them ever say that your brother hit me. I never heard it. Okay. So I'm bringing up my father because don't it start there? I'm going to play something for you all I thought was quite interesting. And this could be some cussing in here. You know, I can be raw. I'm not going to do the cussing. But this is Kev on stage playing this young man. I want you to hear this young man very closely. And it may seem like it doesn't fit in today's subject matter, but it does.
But watch what he says first.
The other day I was talking to my baby mama and she was like, they think you gay, baby daddy. And I said, me? Gay? Why? And then she tried to break down all these little micro things that I do that could be seen soft as feminine, and it hit me and I realized I'm not gay. You niggas didn't have fathers around. Dead ass. Like, I have a dad who is not the traditional dad. He's not a thug ass nigga. He ain't no hood ass nigga, but he's not to be played with ass nigga. You feel me? But he didn't try to whoop my ass every time I did something questionable or just kiddly. I'm growing up around niggas who they hug on their kids. Men who have sons who pick them up from after school and they give their kids a motherfucking hug. When they fall and their kid is crying and the son is crying, they don't say, get your bitch ass up. That's some, Boys don't cry. They don't do that. They say, hey, come here, let me look at it. All right, you good, gone. I grew up around what I consider real niggas. You feel me? People that know when to turn that shit on and when to turn that shit off.
People often think I grew up like a thug and all that because I had that gun pulled on me one time. And I said, do what you got to do. But the truth is, I'm a loving father like this dude. My dad plays the saxophone, and he kissed me on the forehead to this day. Like, as a kid, he kissed me on the forehead, and I'd be like, come on, man.
That's me. I played the saxophone most of my, from high school and all through college and all through my adult life. I played the saxophone, and still to this day, when I see my son, I kiss him. This resonated with me.
But at the same time, I felt the love. And as a teen, I was like, man, going on internally. But I felt the love. To this day, if I spend the night at my dad's house, sometimes I go to Fayetteville and don't want to get a hotel or whatever, fall asleep, that man will kiss me on the forehead. To this day at 42. And he's also not to be played with. I remember one time this dude was, they were playing football and this dude was testing him. And my dad lowered his shoulder and broke that dude's nose. And did apologize. So he wasn't no thug, but he also wasn't to be played with.
Same here. My son is not a violent young man. He's 36, I think. I can't keep up with that boy age. And I don't know any of his exes or any relationships. None of them ever came to me and said, your son hit me. Why is he not violent? Because he didn't see me do it to his mother, number one. Number two, I was always there, but when I was there a certain kind of way. Like this young, what y'all call them, YNs. I knew how to embrace my son when he would fall. Instead of saying, get up, Negro. You a man. No, I embraced him. I didn't coddle him like he was, but there were times when I had to nurture him like a man and then put him back on the bike and let him fall again. But I was there to guide him along the way. So men who are abusing their ladies are men who didn't have this. With Kevin and this young man and my son, my father, my brothers, they didn't have this. So I'm going back to Bishop Talbert Swan's point. We dropped the ball. We can't keep blaming the women for their actions and their outbursts and their emotions. You mean to tell me a woman could cause you to lift your fist to hit her because of something that she said from her mouth? We get it. It's difficult for men to dwell in a house. Even Solomon said he would prefer dwelling on the rooftop than to dwell in a house with a contentious woman. I get it. We have to learn to leave the room. And leaving the room is not always the answer, because a woman hates it when you walk away, because she's going to say, where you going, nigga? And then that right there triggers you, and you turn around, and then you abuse. And then the police is coming, and now you got a case. They're taking you down, and she then realizes, I can't really survive without him. Who gonna pay these bills? And then she goes to the jail and bail you out. And guess what happens? Wash, rinse, and repeat. But you cannot stand before judgment and say, that woman you gave me. You can't do what Adam said, because God still cursed Adam, even though he blamed the woman. I don't know why he would blame her. He knew what he was doing. So let me see. There's more here. It's not just with black men. I'm going to show you something very tragic among whites as well. So just because we do have a few whites who watch the show, I think it's important to talk about how some of this is happening from men who had an active father, and some still have relationships with their fathers. Something is missing. Yes, something surely is missing. Watch this. I hope it plays.
I have thoughts about this.
Let me play. Let me find it again. This is a CNN report.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to speak in code and use other words or not say words, or else this video will be taken down. And it is awful because this deserves to be as horrific as it is. But that's what I have to do, so here we are. CNN released this piece about how they discovered this global academy online that in February alone saw 62 million visitors, where men discussed ways to get away with drugging and assaulting their wives or girlfriends, in particular to photograph or videotape it and put it online. Which is all very reminiscent of this case from southern France in 2024, where a man named Dominic Pelcott was doing this to his wife. He had set up a so-called dating website in a chat room called Without Her Knowledge, and at least 50 other men were tried in this. This is where he would drug unconscious his wife, and then she was over 200 times by 70 men. They only found about 50 of them, though. And on here, these men, the one thing they're concerned about is just the overdose. I'm scared of her overdosing and dying and then me catching a murder charge. Not the horrific thing they're going to be doing to their spouse. They want to know how to get away with that, as long as they don't catch a murder charge. And you have people like this guy who's in there selling little potions you can buy. And he says, this will knock her out. She won't even taste it. And bragging, showing all the packages he's shipping to all the very happy customers that he's getting who want to do this to their spouse. But of course, the big draw to the website is the photos and the videos that men upload of them doing this and the people who want to enjoy that. See, physical grape is horrific. There's also cyber grape, and cyber grape usually has very short statutes of limitations that you can see someone charged. If you don't find it in enough time and get them investigated and prosecuted, they can get away with it. But this is just the guys who want to do this to their spouses or significant others. Here's another trend from Brazil that just got revealed around the same time.
Men are training to attack women in case she says no. This misogynistic trend is sparking outrage in Brazil following a knife attack on a woman. Helena Anísio Rosa, 20, turned down a man who had been sending her flowers and chocolates. A month later, he broke into her home and stabbed her around 50 times. Ana was placed in a medically induced coma and took weeks to recover following multiple surgeries. At the same time, a trend went viral on TikTok in Brazil, showing men hitting or stabbing mannequins or imaginary people with the slogan, "I'm practicing in case she says no." According to Alana's mother, the attacker followed this type of content on social media. The case has raised concerns about increasingly common misogynistic posts and their potential impact on violence against women in Brazil. Last year, 1,586 femicides were recorded in the country, a record high.
Honestly, I won't be surprised if that trend picks up elsewhere outside of Brazil, because it's all men. It's all men until it's no men. And if that makes you bristle hearing that, understand that when this came out, there's a bunch of dude in comment sections making all kinds of excuses for this. Like 62 million, it means 62 million people viewed it. It means 62 million visits. One person could go 100 times and then that's 100 views. And also, we don't know that it's men. There could also be women. Get fucked with your splitting hair bullshit. Get fucked. You know what a bear has never done? A bear has never joined an online community to find out the best ways to eat a woman alive. A bear didn't have to make TikTok trend about what am I going to do if the woman runs away from me. Bears have only ever attacked people out of fear or hunger or desperation. Men will do this shit for sport. Men aren't nearly lonely enough. Not nearly lonely enough. There is a fucking epidemic. This is an epidemic. And we have to do something about it. Unfortunately,
it's an epidemic. And men must do something about it. This is why I'm quick to adopt a young man so that I could play a part. So that I could play a part in helping some woman that he's getting ready to meet. I don't talk about my children's relationships that much, because that's my children's relationships. It's private matter with my children. I protect my children. All right. My daughter is in a new relationship with a man, and it's been a little while. I say new, but it's been a little while. And the reason why she's in a new relationship is because the old relationship was too toxic, and I was almost on my way to prison. That's how toxic it was. And sometimes, you know, you suffer in silence when you're trying to help your children and you don't know what to do, and you don't have a problem dying for your children. But it's like, who do you talk to? Because I want to kill this man. So the Lord has been good to my daughter, because the man she has shown me that he's a good man. The other day, I went to go visit my daughter at church, and she had that boy carrying a Bible down the street. I don't even think he was raised in church, but she had him in there studying the word. I talk to him every day on text. He's part of my trading group. He's been to my house. I've had long talks with him. He treats my daughter like a queen. He's always there. He protects her. And I have never seen my daughter this happy, unless she was with me. But I have never seen my daughter this happy with a man, ever. She's walking on clouds when they're together. And I prayed, and I prayed. I had been praying a long time. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 for you to finally get it right. It doesn't matter if y'all have children together or not with someone you severed your ties with. Sometimes God will come through for you at a certain time. At the right time, that is, for you. It's always the right time for him, but for you. And he's cordial. He is chivalrous. He opens the doors. I mean, he does everything for her. I said, God, thank you. I have some books here that Dr. K just mentioned in the comments section that I told you all. I have about 30 books on men's health, mental and physical relationships, what have you, outside of the books that I've written myself. But I'm going to show you some of my favorites. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 of my favorites. All right. I read all my books. This one is called You Just Don't Understand. Women and Men in Conversation. You Just Don't Understand. Okay. I opened it up to a page that I thought was good for me to discuss with you all. This is chapter 9. It's called Look at Me When I'm Talking to You. Crosstalk across the ages. If you are a counselor or you want to go into counseling, this is a good chapter right here. But if you're a pastor, maybe if you're a husband, a boyfriend, what have you, you are a church mother, or someone who's over youth, what have you, and you're trying to talk to couples on how they should talk, how they understand each other based off of their sex. This is a good chapter here on one source of inspiration for this book was a research project I participated in dealing with how friends talk to each other at grade levels ranging from second grade to university. Although I had not intended to examine gender differences when I watched the set of videos recorded by Bruce Dorval, I was overwhelmed by the difference that separated the females and males at each age, and the striking similarities that linked the females on one hand and the males on the other across the vast expanse of age. In many ways, the second grade girl was more like to 25-year-old women than like the second grade boys. Did y'all hear that? The second grade girls were more like the 25-year-old woman than like the second grade boys. The two categories of differences between the male and female speakers in the videotape, I'm gonna have to watch this videotape, that were most striking to me were what the friends talked about and their body language. Now watch this. How they oriented themselves to each other with their bodies and their eyes. Differences in physical alignment or body language leap out at anyone who looks at segments of the videotapes one after another. At every age, the girls and women sit closer to each other and look at each other directly. I saw that in my class when I was teaching grammar school in high school. I noticed how the girls would watch a particular tape and they would look at each other. At every age, the boys and men sit at angles to each other, in one case almost parallel, and never look directly into each other's faces. That's us. I developed the term anchoring gaze to describe this visual home base. The girls and the women anchor their gaze on each other's faces, occasionally glancing away, while the boys and men anchor their gaze elsewhere in the room, occasionally glancing at each other. When men talk, pay close attention to them. They're not looking at you. That's why women will often say, look at me. Look me in the eyes. When you do that, that's a type of trigger. Some men, a whole lot of men, I'm one of them, don't have to look at you in your eyes for me to understand every word you're saying, even though probably what they say 80% of communication is not audible, but is what? I literally watch the TV by not looking at the TV. Auditory. I watch the TV. The TV is right here, and I'll watch the TV by looking over here because I envision what's going on the screen, and I can tell you all what's going on TV. Not even looking at it. That part is the man in me. All right. So when a woman say, look at me in my eyes, that is a threat to him, because what you just did is you lowered him down to your son. I'm trying to help you. It says the boys and men's avoidance of looking directly at each other is especially important because researchers and conventional wisdom have emphasized that girls and women tend to be more indirect than boys and men in their speech. Actually, women and men tend to be indirect about different things. In physical alignment and in verbally expressing personal problems, the men tend to be more indirect. I don't need to look at you. I can hear you. Have your man ever said that? Listen to him. This all may seem petty to you, but I really want to help you to communicate with him and to talk him off of a cliff. The times when a man really want to look at you in your eyes is when he's trying to convince you of something. And sometimes manipulation is there. He wants you to take your clothes off. He gonna look at you in your eyes. Education injustice. How public schools fail African American males. This is Augustus Corbett, J.D. Another great book. Watch this. This is chapter 7. It's called Tracking and Black Boys. One of my favorite chapters here. Tracking is the practice of grouping students into different classes based on their supposed academic abilities. Educators often refer to tracking as ability grouping. Educators use it to guide certain students to college and other students to vocational careers. This was planned in our pressure system of education in public schools. It's planned vocational, not STEM. Indians have overtaken STEM. But our black boys were told, you must have a vocation. You need to wear a blue suit and carry a hammer. You need to understand that. We were pushed into that field because the government need workers. It permits educators to impose their visions on their students. A young African American male student, for example, many envision becoming a surgeon. What do you want to be, little Walter? I want to be a doctor or a lawyer. While his teacher may envision him becoming a mechanic and track him into auto mechanic classes. They had us in those classes and shop classes, all kind of stuff. Similarly, a young African American female student may envision becoming an engineer, while her guidance counselor imagines her becoming a secretary and tracks her into typing classes. I do not wish to belittle mechanics or secretaries. They do important work, and many of them may make very good money. My point is that educators should not use tracking to impose their visions on their students. Education and Justice. Get the book. It's going to help you raise your little black boy. Here's another one of my favorites. Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. This is by Dr. Juwanza Kunjufu. There's videos of him teaching on the whiteboard. Was it a blackboard? I think it might have been a whiteboard on YouTube. All right. This is good. All right. This is chapter 1, The Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. Genocide, the deliberate and systematic destruction of a racial, political, or cultural group. To use the word conspiracy to describe certain aspects of our society is a strong indictment against the social fabric of this country. I have been challenged hundreds of times in debates and by the media with the use of the word conspiracy. Many of the challengers want me to document who were the plotters of this so-called conspiracy. Where was the meeting and when did it take place? I smile and listen to their barrage and remain confident in knowing, as Neely Fuller says, until you understand white supremacy, everything else will confuse you. I then begin to ask them several questions and look at his questions. Number 1, can you explain how less than 10% of the world's population, which is white, own over 70% of the world's wealth? Number 2, can you explain how United States presidents has been all white? This obviously was written before Barack Obama. Number 3, is there a relationship between Africans being labeled 3/5 of a person and their median income being the same fraction in comparison to white? Number 4, why did some whites feel the need to physically castrate African American males? Number 5, was it an accident that all the men that that constituted the Tuskegee experiment were African American and they possessed syphilis and went untreated by the U.S. Center for Disease Control for 40 years. Number 6, is it ironic that only 2 white persons have ever received the death penalty for killing an African American? Number 7, are the videotapes of racial discrimination as shown on national television in housing, banking, employment, and shopping a figment of our imagination? Racialism, discrimination, and bigotry has an effect on black men. I read that one because of this. If you all are smart and intelligent and you know anything about logic, then you should know why I'm using all of these sources to talk about domestic violence. If you're not getting it just yet, just hold on. We see if we can find you in this explanation. I'm trying to paint a picture and find the whys to why men can easily just abuse a woman. It doesn't start right then. It didn't start last week. Some of it is systematic. Some of it is familial, meaning family oriented. It's culture. It is doors that were closed on him. It is racial discrimination. All right. It is what they call it. What's the book by that woman about the fatigue? Something fatigue. Okay. It's the new Jim Crow. All right. So all this stuff he dealt with from the time he was born. Now he's my age. He's acting out because it was a journey to get to this place where he wants to hit you. So discrimination has a lot to do with it as well, y'all. So you said, well, I'm a Christian. I'm a believer, blah, blah, blah. Christian men who hate women. You can see through it. It's a see-through book. Christian men who hate women. This is Dr. Margaret Rink, Healing Hurting Relationships. Watch this. This is chapter 8. Chapter 8. The misogynist in therapy and treatment. This is a good chapter here. As mentioned earlier, in a misogynistic relationship, it is usually the women who seek help. Unfortunately, the man is content with things the way they are and is too eager to conceptualize the problem, and his wife needing to see a shrink. Black fatigue, yes, that's it. Even when a couple seeks help together, a therapist must work separately. Now, listen to this, y'all. I thought this was good advice because I did this when I would counsel couples who want to get married. I talk to him by himself, and then I talk with her by herself. What they're saying here, I didn't even know I was doing this. I was doing it properly. I was just going with my instinct, and what I believe Holy Spirit was having me to do. But here they're saying, even when a couple seeks help together, a therapist must work separately with a woman for a while. The reason is that the woman is frequently emotionally distraught and has incredibly low self-esteem by the time she comes for help. She is often convinced that she is the sick one and that everything would be fine in the marriage if she could just control herself. She does not see the marriage relationship as sick because the misogynist has convinced her that she is crazy. Work with the couple truly begins after the woman is stabilized, educated about the real problem, the marriage relationship, that's where the sick is, and feels better about herself. Both parties will need to change if the relationship is to become viable. Christian men who hate women. When I went to counseling with my ex, she sat there and cried the whole time and talked about all of the horrible things about me. I could hardly get a word in. We did that for the first session. In the next session, she did it again. And I had to stop the session. I said, hey, Mr. Counselor, yes, you're going to have to talk to her without me. And then you and I are going to have to talk together without her. Because she sees two men in the room. She sees one who is her hero, that's you. And she finally got somebody she can talk to. And she can ready to dump on you, and she must do it in front of me. It's a way of getting even in a sense. This is psychological. If we keep having these sessions together, we can't get help. We both need help. But we can't get help this way. He said, I agree. I was going to suggest. He said, I typically do that. I separate you. He said, so Mr. Jones, you jumped the gun there. Well, I'm going to jump the gun. Because this is dangerous what's happening here. The boy crisis. Warren Farrell, PhD. It's thick. Oh, but it's good. With couples, I do intro sessions with both parties separately and have them rate and explain their perception of the relationship without their partner present to try to encourage honesty and transparency. Dr. K, thank you. The boy crisis. Listen, you all, you don't have to be a therapist to get these books. This will help you understand the men in your life. It really would. Part one is there really a boy crisis? Mental, physical, economic, education, worldwide? Obviously, yes. Number two, part two, why the boy crisis isn't your fault. The boy crisis, a problem created by a solution. The problem was created by a solution. Urban renewal was a solution which created a problem. We were living in slums. We were living in the ghetto. Black people didn't create the ghetto. Those who are considered whites now had created the ghetto, but white was not a race. There was no white race. Europeans wasn't even white. They weren't called white. They were called white later on in life. And Italians and who were the other ones? And the Irish, they were not white. They became white. And because they became white, then they were able to hide and benefit from whiteness. It became white privilege for them. But when they first came here, the Irish were looked to as niggers. Look at the old cartoon caricatures of Irish. See what they do with their faces? And the Italians. They moved in those neighborhoods and they made them slums. And then we came in from the southern migration from the south. There was two migrations that happened, and where we had to go to where they were. And then when they saw us coming, then they moved out and then they became white. Do you understand? I'm bringing that up because the problem created a solution. So we then moved in those neighborhoods, and then things were taken away from us, and the housing situation was already bad. And without the proper taxes that the government takes from the housing, it goes to the school system. Well, if you got raggedy, worn down houses, and if the property taxes are low, then that's how your school gonna be. When I was in grammar school, they was teaching us Morse code. Boop, 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 boop. I was like, wow, this is great. Boop, 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 boop. I was learning Morse code. Boop, 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 boop. I was like, oh, man, I'm gonna be all right, boy. I'm gonna get bigger. I'm gonna really learn this stuff. I'm gonna use this for communication. Boop, 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 boop. And we had a field trip, and we went to a school. It was a white school, and the white kids had computers. I was like, what is this? What is that? That's a computer. That's a who? That's a papuda. That's a papuda. It's a computer. Then what we doing over here at our school going boop, 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 boop. We were learning something that had died 20 years before we learned it. It's a systematic, you all. The problem created the solution. Urban renewal created a problem, which they said was the solution. That's how we got the projects. Urban renewal. The path to the. All right, this is a really good book. I wish I could spend more time on that. Was that the last one? It was. Let me see, where am I? I want to look at the statistics. The Institute for Women's Policy Research. Violence against black women. There are many types, far-reaching effects. Black women disproportionately experience violence at home, school, on the job, and in their neighborhoods. The status of black women in the United States details these many types of violence. Black women face high rates of intimate partner violence, rape, and homicide. Black girls and women also experience institutionalized racism. They are disproportionately punished in school, funneled into the criminal justice system after surviving physical or sexual abuse, disproportionately subjected to racial profiling and police brutality, and incarcerated at rates far exceeding their share of the population. By drawing on available studies, the report helps lay the foundation necessary for positive change. They treat black women in hospitals as lab rats. The medical institution practice on black women. They said that black women can tolerate pain, or they don't feel pain like white women do, and this is why so many black women were dying in hospitals, especially at childbirth. And they were left to their device. They were left to themselves in hospital beds, moaning and groaning because they need help. They want to relieve the pain, and the system treated them like they were monkeys. So you wonder why the mental health is out the scale in the black community. A lot of it is system. It's systematic, you all. And somebody going to be in the comment section and say, you're throwing out the race card. I threw out every card I can find. The data show that more than 4 in 10 black women experience physical violence from an intimate partner during their lifestyle. White women, Latinas, and Asian Pacific Islander women report lower rates. Black women also experience significant higher rates of psychological abuse, including humiliation, insults, name-calling, coercive control, and then do women overall. It's easy to hear a black woman called bitter, angry. Donald Trump would see a black newscaster. She asked the same question as white woman asked, and he'll go off on her. He'll body shame her, character attack her. Sexual violence affects black women at a high rate. More than 20% of black women are raped during their lifetime, a higher share than among women overall. Black women face a particularly high risk of being killed at the hands of a man. 2015 Violence Policy Center study finds that black women were 2.5 times more likely to be murdered by men than their white counterparts. More than 9 in 10 black female victims knew their killers. Racial disparities pervade that is the educational and criminal justice system. Black girls are suspended or expelled from public schools at a much higher rate than other girls. School administrators are more apt to perceive black girls as disruptive. They're loud compared with other groups of boys and girls, and black girls are more likely to be punished for dress code violations, talking back to teachers, and defiance. Not surprisingly, multiple suspensions and expulsions impede some black girls' educational success. School discipline disparities can also contribute to girls' disproportionate involvement with the criminal justice system. Black girls make up nearly 1/3 of the girls referred to law enforcement, and over 40% of girls arrested in connection with a school incident. For too many black girls, school leads to imprisonment. Black girls aged 18 and 19 were 4 times more likely to be in prison than white girls. Girls and women of color are the fastest growing population in American prisons. Scholars cited in the report ascribed disproportionate incarceration rates to racial disparities in school discipline, war on drugs policies, still going on, y'all, the war on drugs, and other forms of institutionalized racism and sexism. Formerly incarcerated black women experience long-term economic, political, occupational, educational, and physical consequences, and the report comprehensively describes the urgent need to prevent violence against black women. It's the system. The system did a work on our sisters. Childbirth is one of the areas where black women are neglected and ignored. You're right, Rich. I know this is hard, y'all. This is hard. I did that show about Teddy and Tina. I talked about everything on that show. I did everything but call Teddy a dog. I mean, I dogged him with my comments. I talked about the church being responsible. They cannot counsel nobody. They need to shut up. I rebuked YouTubers. I called them a bunch of niggas and stop giving bad advice. Stop pushing these poor young ladies back into the burning buildings and homes so they can be attacked by these men. I talked about musicians and doctors and lawyers and preachers and elders and deacons. I talked about everybody I can think of on that show. I talked about my experiences and things like that. But what kind of comment do I get? Dude, I like your commentary on scripture, but you clearly have it out for women. I talked about everybody. How is it that I had it out for women? This is the only thing she heard. I told you it was always one. I saw that comment and I laughed. I said, boy, that is amazing. Why couldn't she say I have it out for men? I dogged men on that show. And why couldn't she say I had it out for the church? I dogged the church on the show. Why is it that I had it out for women? You laugh too, Edward? I can't understand why she was saying. I just laughed at it. This is part of the problem right here. She said, sorry for your trauma, but I pray you get healed. I'm like, do I need healing from women? And then Deshaun said, I totally agree. Totally agree with what? Then I said, healed from what? 80% of my followers are women. We're a close family. Never mistake my past stories for present pain. There is no way, Kingdom Principle, that 80% of my viewers would be women and they keep coming back for a man who hates women. There's no way. Bunkers, would you follow me if you thought I hated women? I went to go see most of y'all. I traveled the whole world last year to go see y'all and didn't bring you back to my hotel. Wasn't trying to get your phone number so I could have a rendezvous with you. I kept myself away from all that problems. Yeah, because I love y'all. Right? Come on, Miss T said, Mrs. T said, I watched the show and was like, how? Okay. Now, I want to talk to you ladies who may press the button on a man who is violent. Okay. You may press the button on a man who's violent. Let me show y'all something here. This is really good. I want y'all to find an intelligent way on how to link these two here. Okay? Do your best to try to link these two. Because I want you all to use your critical thinking and see why am I linking these. They getting ready to teach young black men how to talk to police when they get pulled over. All right, let's see.
Yo.
What's about all in the police department? You roll your window down for me, sir?
I ain't gotta roll my window down.
Yes, sir. Will you roll your window down for me?
I don't have to.
Okay, so you ain't gonna roll your window down. You got your driver's license?
I do. There you go, sir. Yep.
Mr. Brown, 6 foot lane.
That's what they say on the license, man.
I pull you over for speeding, man. You doing 70 and 55. Why you going so fast?
Man, you ain't got nothing better to do. I was speeding. Somebody out here done got killed and everything. What I mean, what's up?
Okay, so we ain't worried about nobody getting killed, right? We ain't worried about you getting speeding.
Well, that's what you need to be worried about. All these folk around here dying all the time.
So you need to worry about yourself.
Bro, I'm just chilling, bro. I'm good.
Since you want to be a little hot, step out the car for me.
I ain't got to step out the car.
You step out the car.
Why am I stepping out the car?
Because right now you being a little hot, sir. I can't see inside the vehicle for one right there, and you won't even cooperate with it.
All right, I'll let the window down.
No, it's too late for that.
Nah, you just said you can't see inside the car. Man, y'all always trying to do something to folk, man. Why I got to step out the car? Man, what my phone? Come on, bro. Come on, y'all, man. Y'all, police brutality. Police brutality. Police brutality, y'all. Man, come on, man. Help. 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 Man, y'all said I was speeding. Now I'm out the car. Like, for what, bro? Come on. So what? Man, that's all matter, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
See, now you gonna make the situation worse on yourself.
So talk to me. What's all that?
You having an attitude. You was having an attitude.
What's the first thing I did?
You didn't roll your window down all the way.
Now look, do I have to roll my window all the way down?
Yeah.
Nah, you don't gotta roll it all the way down. You ain't got to. But when you do that, we already put them on alert. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
If I sit there and start out with all that and not roll my window down, I'm putting him on alert off top. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Officer Bell, Albany Police Department. You got your license on you, sir?
Yes, sir.
Mr. King Randall here in Albany?
Yes, sir.
The reason I pulled you over, sir, you're doing 70 and 55. Would you like me to check my radar for accuracy?
No, sir.
Okay, then. Where you headed, Mr. Randall?
Headed home.
Okay, then. Give me just a second, and I'll be right back with you, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Randall, I'm going to cite you for speeding. It's going to be for 70 and 55. It's court date of May the 4th.
Yes, sir.
If you want to go to court, you can go May the 4th down to 201 West Oak Thorpe. Now you take care of it on the back of the citation.
Yes, sir.
That's online or call them by phone, okay?
Yes, sir.
So just sign down here by the X and you'll be free to go.
All right, thank you very much.
Admission and get this and receive a copy of it.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you.
Free to go.
All right, cool. Officers, tell them why you was comfortable just doing that.
All right. So when I walked up to the car, notice all four of his windows are down, right? So when I walk up, I see there's nobody in the back. There's nobody up in the front seat with him. Both of his hands are where I can see him because hands kill, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. So when I come up and talk to him, he gave me his license immediately. I told him what I pulled him over for. Asked him was the address right. The reason that we asked the address right, if something goes wrong, we know where to go to, okay? But King Runner told y'all the best thing to do is what we want to get back where? Home. All right. So I don't care if they're white, blue, black, brown, or whatever color. Don't argue with them. All right. It's been a lot of times that people have argued with me side the road, and they may have been right. But when they get in the courtroom, when they play that body camera back, it makes them look bad. They make y'all look bad when y'all argue side the road, okay?
Yes, sir.
I love everything about this video.
Me too. I love everything about that video. These are young black boys and girls. This is going to help them not just on the street, but it's going to help them at home too. This is preventive care. An ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. He says, do y'all remember what I said? Get home. You may win a scuffle, but you're going to lose a soul on the spiritual end. Well, it's the same way on the natural end. Because when it comes to the streets belong to the police. They always win. They got too many people in higher up who already hate you. So the police going to look always favorable. How many times have we seen this? That's why we got a so-called Black Lives Matter, because the police looks favorable, even though he may shoot a boy, all right, and kill a kid. A lot of times they get off scot-free because the police, that street, he the biggest gang out there. He going to win. If he pull you over, he going to win, and the court's going to back him up. I'm tying this to domestic violence by saying you want to get back home safe. If you know that there are signs that this man is violent, don't press his button. Get home safe. But if home is where you both live, now we've got some other things you need to talk about. I was looking on Google. And the sad thing about it is I typed on Google how to talk to an abuser because I was curious. How do you even counsel someone who is the abuser? And when you type that on YouTube, you're not going to find much information on it. No, they're going to often spotlight the person who's being abused. Always the person who's being abused. They're gonna if they talk about the abuser, they're gonna say, okay, watch him. But there's not much information out there on how to talk to him. That's systematic in itself. I'm telling y'all. So I was looking at it, and I saw something called Partners for Peace. And they asked the question, what about the abuser? I think Dr. K asked the question, can a woman counsel a black man who's an abuser? She can. One of the problems I see in black men especially is that when you're looking for information on how to deal with your abuser, the best way to really deal with certain abusers is not to deal with them at all. You know why? Because you're the problem in his head. Some people who don't have the proper cognitive reasoning will look at some things that I say as I am attacking the abused, victimizing the victim. But I'm telling you, there are people who watch that video I just played and say, yeah, no matter whether you comply with the cops, you still could lose your life. Anything in life, the opposite can happen. But the possibilities of you going home in one piece is so much higher when you comply than it is when you start fighting the police. It goes all the way down. So I would rather comply and be maybe a little humiliated and get home to my children and my wife, my husband, and fight him in the courts. I already know that sometimes the court is against me, but at least I have a fighting chance. So when it comes to an abuser, the best way to deal with him is not get out of the house, because you're the problem. You understand? So you can't help him because you're the problem. It's like a cat going to a dog for help. Meow. The dog was like, wait a minute, are you coming to me for help? I'm getting ready to eat you. So I saw this. What about the abuser? If your partner is abusing you, you probably wonder, can they really change? Yes, but only if they recognize they have a problem and are prepared to work hard and for a long time. And they shouldn't expect or demand rewards or support from their partner for their efforts. Change does not occur overnight, if it occurs at all, and many people give up along the way. Long-term improvement is more likely if the abuser completes a state-certified 48-week domestic violence intervention program. I'm for it, y'all. But even that is no guarantee, as many abusers continue to be violent and controlling after completing even the program. Somebody will say, the program, forget all the program. They need Jesus. Yeah, they do need Jesus. They sure do. Everybody needs Jesus today. And Jesus said, go down and get that 48-week domestic violence intervention program and sit down, lay on the couch and talk to somebody who can help you. You've got to try something. But for somebody to make a promise to you, it's going to be short term, because if you reward him like you do a kid, he's going to keep looking for a reward. And then when you're not able to reward him, he's going to then go to recidivism. He's going to have a relapse because he's looking now for a reward. He's going to anchor this reward like a dog in obedience school. He does his trick, and then the man gives him a cookie. So he does that trick for the cookie. You don't want him to, be reliant on you rewarding him. No, he needs to get right. Man, this is tough. Ladies, play the role. Move in silence. Be smart until you are safe. Close your mouth. If they're sorry, will they change? An abuser may be apologetic after being abusive, but this doesn't mean they're changed or even want to change. In fact, many people who use abusive tactics go through a very predictable cycle. Increasing abusiveness, an incident of violence, a period of regret, and attempts to make up. They may apologize and promise to change in order to get you to take them back, to drop a restraining order, or to drop criminal charges. This remorse stage is another abuse and controlling tactic and does not lead to any lasting change. Teddy told Tina on the when she was talking on the My Future Husband Wifey show, that Teddy said, if you file for divorce, I'm gonna chase after you. I'm gonna get you back. And she said, yeah, he said that, and he sure enough, boy, he was trying. Where are they right now? Huh? Where they at? How long did that last? Are they violent because they drink? Alcohol does not cause anyone to be abusive. Alcohol does not cause anyone to be abusive. It gives them a convenient excuse. Remember I told y'all yesterday, I said that people who drink, who are alcoholics, tell the truth. People who get high tell the truth. If I got drunk right now, I'd be talking about Jesus. I'd be singing a beautiful song, playing my piano, telling jokes. I would never abuse you all. I wouldn't be cussing. Contrary to what some people think, Danny Darkins think. I would not be acting off. I would not be going out there trying to sleep with every woman out if I got drunk. No, I'm going to do what's inside of me. It brings out the true character. I'm going to be the funniest man on earth if I got drunk. Y'all understand? A drunk man speaks a sober a man's mind. I'm trying to tell you. If your partner is violent and also uses alcohol or drugs, then they have two problems to take care of. Someone who uses abusive tactics and uses this substance typically has a period of improved behavior when they first get off the substance, but then head rapidly back to their old abusive way. Somebody who say, "I'm sorry, baby, I was drunk last night and I didn't really mean it. It's the alcohol. It's the blame it on the alcohol." No. That wasn't the alcohol. That was you. That was you, bro. Should there be couples counseling? They said no. Abuse is a problem in the abuser, not a problem in the relationship. Couples counseling allows the abuser to focus on criticism of their partner instead of dealing with their own problems. That's what happened to me at counseling. An abuser may retaliate against their partner physically or verbally for what the partner says to the counselor. I got punished when I finally spoke up and she kicked me out the house. And I had to roam the street at night in the cold because she was mad because I told the counselor something. They may even put pressure on their partner to give up certain things that are important in return for them giving up violence. But that's another controlling tactic and doesn't lead to a real change. So how do I know if they're changing? You're the best judge. If you feel that your partner has not changed, trust the impression regardless of their signs. Trust that impression. Y'all call it women's intuition. Use it. I call it Holy Ghost. Here are some things to look out for. Have they completely stopped doing and saying things which frightens you? Can you express anger towards them without being punished for it? Does it feel safe to bring up topics that you know upset them? Can they listen to your opinion and respect it even when they disagree? It's a whole lot of stuff here, y'all. Let me put it in the comments section here. And so you can read the rest of it. It's called Partners with Peace. Partners for Peace. All right. I'll just put it in the comment section. It should hit YouTube and Facebook at the same time. You can go to that link. Another thing that I really wish you would not do is not bring up this kind of stuff during sex. All right. Don't do that. Don't bring up problems during sex. Especially if he's inside of you. Wrong time. How many adults I got in the room? You look at that as an intimate moment. It should remain intimate. Even if you're using it to quell him, to calm him down, then use it to calm him down while you, like Sherry says, quietly find your way that way. But don't bring up these problems dinner, because when you do that, that's his time of intimacy. And sex for a man is different than sex for a woman. And when you bring up something that disturbs him during sex, you causing a big problem. I've counseled too many people, y'all. I heard some crazy stuff. And that's why I'm telling y'all what I know. Why does these abusers show off and embarrass a person in front of others and starts arguments and get angry over nothing? They don't like the truth. That would always be right. Yeah. Yeah. A person reacts to what is missing as much as they react to what is there. As I end this, because I want my sister to talk. A person reacts to the void just as much as he acts to what is present. Women should also recognize that men withhold sex as punishment as well. Sure do. They sure do. Both parties trying to control the situation. Nobody wants to be hurt. So it's either fight or flight. He liked who he was and wasn't going to change. He was buried at the age of 45. I'm 71. Yeah. You can't help everybody. But we can't make the excuse that he don't need me trying because he ain't gonna. You'd be surprised. All right. I went too long because I wanted my sister. She's going to talk for about 12 minutes here. She broke in my studio and then she told her story. There were 7 boys back to back. Michael, Rodney, Larry, Walter, Dwayne, David, Justin. Back to back. We didn't know what a girl was in the house. And then one day in 1978, I think it was, my sister, 77 maybe, 77 or 78, my sister was born. My first sister. And boy, did she take us through because she was bad, bold, because she had all these brothers, so she couldn't do no wrong. And we did protect her. We did. So she stayed out of trouble, but there was an incident that did happen that put something into all of her brothers, and quite disturbing, and we really felt horrible for my sister. What is needed from women mental health providers in order to work with Black American men, especially if Black American women are their trigger? What is needed from women mental health providers, okay, in order to work with Black American men, especially if Black American women are the trigger? Good. That is a good question. I'm going to answer that question before I play my sister by saying this, by what I know from me and from the men that I know. When a man don't like a woman, it don't mean he don't like all women, which is the reason why men could cheat. Cheating has a couple responses. One response is he's just a dog, a horny guy, and he find a hole. If he can find a place to stand or lay and put a hole in front of him, he gonna put something in it. This is an adult show. He'll put a bag over her face if she ugly, but find a hole. Y'all call men dogs anyway, so that's what he does. You understand? That's one guy. The other guy is looking for somebody to rescue him from what he has. That's why I wrote the book, The 4 Women That Men Desire, because there are 2 women especially that he runs away. He leaves his wife or his main squeeze and he goes to her. It's not that he hates all women. He don't like her. So his mistress is that escape. So there are women out there that he sees as someone who can nurture him, and he sees her as a mother figure. Or tell her to face the pillow. Yep. This is an adult show. So, so women, especially African American health counselors, can help a lot of men. Not all of them, but a lot of men are susceptible to them when you come to them, when you have, when they can see that you are, because he's not going to go there on his own. No, he's not going there on his own. Typically, he don't. He go to counseling because his wife made him go. But typically, men don't volunteer that. No. But if he does volunteer it and he goes to you on his own, he wants help so bad. And sometimes him wanting help is not that he wants restoration. He wants out. How do I get out of this? And then you see the female counselor takes him in, and then they start sleeping together. So the counselor becomes the homewrecker. How many of y'all seen that? I did. I seen it. I know we see it in the pastors will counsel a couple, and before you know it, the pastor is sleeping with the woman, the wife, because she is looking for a prince in shining armor. She found it in him. So men could actually receive some kind of help. Yeah, that's an ethical violation, but it happens. So men could actually receive help from another woman because he's not just seeing her as some woman. He's seeing her more of a nurturer. Can you help me because you're a woman and maybe you'll understand better than a man can because you're a woman and I'm living with a woman. So can you help me? I have two friends who they have female counselors. Most of the other men that I know who's in counseling, it's a man. But I have two friends in my history of having friends. When I said, so who's counseling you? And he mentioned a female. I was like, oh, that's different. Folks could lose their license. That's horrendous. She said, oh, you talking about in the church? You know what happens in the secular world. I mean, that's why you see people lose their license. They're defrocked from the world because they it's unethical. But it happens. It's happening. It's happening right now. They just haven't been busted. Who keep better secrets, men or women? Can y'all tell me? Who keeps better secrets? Who's better at keeping secrets? I said it wrong. Who's better? Better secrets. Who's better at keeping secrets? Anybody? I should do a part 2. Put that number up there. All right. Karen says women. I am Gold says women. Sarah says men. Sherry says women. Men, women, men, women. Ooh, it's almost split. Women. Okay. I would say 55 to 60% of you all are saying women. Yeah, it's almost split, but it looks like mostly women. I asked that question because I wanted to see where it is perceived. Where's your perception? Because I asked the question a couple years ago, who falls in love first? Do men fall in love first or do women fall in love first? You remember when I asked that question? Can y'all remember what the answer was? I've also seen men go to women counselors because they don't want to deal with their father wounds. Yeah. Many have unspoken issues with their fathers. Yep. But then don't expect women to challenge. Yep. That's so true. Yeah. Women cheat better. That's true. Mary said women can't keep secrets. Yeah. That's part 2. You remember that? Well, the answer to who falls in love first, men do. And I proved it on the show. I proved it in front of you women. I proved it. And I asked y'all another question, and y'all said, dang, you're right. Men fall in love first. The problem is they don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do with it. I want my sister Janina to tell her story. And men hide by omission more. Yep. You've been teaching today, Dr. K. You typically don't be in the comment section. I mean, you watch the shows. I know you do because I see your comments over on YouTube after the fact. But I'm glad that you're over here because this is a hot topic for you, and you're helping me. I've needed you here. And my other sister who was here earlier, I needed you all to. Who was that said they went to counseling? 2 people said they went to counseling. Cheryl, I think, said she went today or something like that. Women can't keep secrets from women, but we can keep secrets. There it is. I was waiting on that answer. Thank you. Thank you. Finally, we get the truth. All right. I'll let her talk, and then I'll play a song I wrote. The song was called I Find No Fault in Him. Y'all remember I played it on Easter? The answer to your questions of life is we have not a high priest who, what's the rest of it, you all? This high priest is the one who took your sins into the Holy of Holies. And the blood, everything in that thing, in that temple was shed, was sprinkled with blood, everything. And he went there for not just you all, but for himself as well. And now we have that one who died on the cross, and he only did it once. He ain't had to do it but one time. I find no fault in him. You all may find fault in your oppressors and those who abuse you, what have you, but you're going to have to forgive them so that God can forgive. All right? It ain't easy. If you've never been abused like that, it ain't easy. It's easy to tell somebody to forgive, but you've never been through it. It ain't easy. Find a way. Get as much help as possible. National Domestic Violence Hotline is right here on the screen, 1-800-799-7233. And I promise you, YouTube probably have already put a link. Typically when you do shows like that, YouTube slaps a link on there. 1-800-799-7233. Call them, all right, and find a way. You can go online and search for domestic violence, some kind of help. And this hotline would actually also help you technically to erase your footprints on search engines as well, because he's in the house and he's checking your computers and what have you, and they'll show you how to erase your footprints so that he won't know what you're doing. They'll help you, all right? I've studied them for many years, and they really have helped so many women and men, because men are abused as well. Not a whole lot of men call, but they do call. It's a lot going on this week, and my phone is blowing up. So, all right, all right. So, there's the number. Use it at your discretion, and get the help that you can get. My sister is coming on, and then we'll do a song afterwards. Let the Lord minister to you, and we'll see you again. Not tonight, but tomorrow. I have a meeting tonight, but tomorrow we're going to our apologetics class on Patreon tomorrow night, Wednesday night, to talk about this video about the first century church opposed to today's church. It's an important one, right? I want to see what's going on with today's church opposed to what the first century church did. It's a great video. So not tonight on Patreon, but tomorrow night on Patreon, okay? You can go there and meet us live, all right? And where's the link? It's right there, live. All right. Take care of yourselves and one another. I went long. It's going to be 2 o'clock. I mean, this is going to be a 2-hour show because my sister talked a long time. But I think she got her point across. Ladies, it's not your fault. Don't keep blaming yourself and punishing yourself for something that he did. Please. All right? Don't do it. Thank you, Kay. Consider purchasing a prepaid phone as well. Anyone in this situation. Yeah, prepaid. What they call them, burner phones or something like that. Yeah, do whatever you can to get out of that. And like Cheryl said, be silent, be quiet. Don't tell your steps. Start moving your monies silently, slowly, subtly. Get you another bank account somewhere, and don't move stuff that he noticed you moved. Just quietly, silently. Cook for him, clean for him, do whatever you need to do, but get out in one piece. Save yourself from this untoward generation. And there's a whole bunch of people out there who can help you. All right? Take care.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Nina Davis, and I am Sir Walter's sister. And I am here to just give a little insight on my experience with, with sexual abuse, I'll say. So I was a kid. I was in high school. I was a freshman in high school, and I was on my way to school, and I was late because I was always late for school. So I stuck out the house because I didn't want my parents to know that I was late again. So on my way, not paying any attention, I did see a young man and a young lady talking outside of this building that was by my house. But still not, after walking, not paying attention to them anymore. And all I noticed was someone came behind me and held something to my throat and said, "If you scream, I will cut you." Now, those know me know that I'm a bit of a goofball. So I started laughing because I thought it was a friend of mine or someone I knew playing with me because they know my personality. And when he said it again and I kind of looked at what he was holding a knife to my throat. So I said, wait, this is real. This is not a joke. And he began to pull me in that building that he was standing in front of. Now, the building was partially vacant. Well, it was mostly vacant. It was only a couple of apartments that was not vacant. And he drugged me into that building and took me to the very first apartment that was empty. And so now I'm really knowing that this is real. And he just began to tell me, take your pants off. And I'm like, what? I'm a little startled, this is shocking to me. And he held the knife and I'm still holding my books. I'm holding my books, my gym uniform, everything is in my hand, purse on my shoulder. And when I hesitated, he came at me with the knife. So I blocked it with the books that I was holding. And he said, take your pants off is what I heard. And so, of course, I'm scared. So I began to take them off. And he said, I said, take one leg off. All I heard was pants off. That was it. And so he said, go ahead. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? What's going on? And he began to expose himself. He did. And he wanted me to touch him. And I, again, hesitated. And he said, don't act like you don't know what to do. Mind you, I was a virgin. I didn't experience this before. So he, again, with the knife. And I'm just like, so he wanted me to touch him. And so I began to touch him, of course, because now I'm fighting for my life. And he took his coat off. He laid it down. And he told me to lay down on the coat. So I'm again with this hesitation. Now, this may seem a little nasty, but women understand it was that time of the month. So I'm like, well, I'm on, and everything. And he's like, lay down on this coat. So only thing I started thinking of, like, come on, Lord, give it to me. Give me something to say, something, because I don't want this happening. This man was getting ready to be inside of me. And I just started blurting out. Blood going to be everywhere. Blood's going to be all over you. Blood's going to be all over you. Cold blood's going to be da, 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 da. You know, now I'm acting crazy. And he hesitated. And so he began to bag up. And he was like, well, you know, he said, get up. And then he gave me my clothes and he said, go put them on. And so I started about to run out. He said, no, do it right here. So I'm like, okay. And now he's trying to be nice to me because he emptied out my purse and I had a gold plated watch that came from my uncle that lived in California and a $2 bill. So he took those things and then he started putting everything back in my purse saying, you see, I didn't do anything to you. All I did was help you. I'm helping you out right now. Right. I'm like, yeah, yes. You know, I'm not having an attitude because I want to get out of there alive. And I'm just agreeing. I was like, yes, you're right. And then he began to say, and I go to the same school you go to. Mind you, he only know what school I went to is because I had my school uniform, my gym uniform, which had the school name on it. And so I'm like, okay. And he took me out the back and through the alley. And the first place I went to was the school because it was right there by the school. And my home was a little further than the school. And the first thing I went to, because when you late first period, they don't let you in. So I go to the water fountain and I just started washing my hands, no soap or anything. I'm scrubbing my hands because I had to touch this man, you know, and I'm still kind of in my mind, you know, to want to just clean. I'm like, ugh. And so I told a friend, and when I told a friend, you know how you have a teacher that everybody can trust, everybody love. And we went straight to her and I told her what happened. She called the guard, the security. She called the security. Security came and then he took me to the principal. Then I had to tell the principal what happened. Principal called mom and dad will call mom. And I'm nervous because in my head, I'm thinking I'm going to get in trouble because I was late for school. In my head, I'm thinking it's my fault because I was late for school, you know. And so all I hear is the principal saying, Miss Jones, she's all right. Miss Jones, calm down, Miss Jones. Because my mom was going crazy because her baby experienced something that no woman should ever have to experience. And after he finally got her calm on the phone, after a while, I looked up. Here come dad running in the door. And so we're talking to dad. And now, you know, of course, dad upset because he's the protector. And now he's ready to find this dude. So we finally get in the car. He's riding me around the whole city looking for this guy. And the only thing that I had to identify him was his eyes were very, very cocked. Very cocked. And the coat that he was wearing. Because at the time when he snatched me, he had his coat, the hood came all the way out here and it snapped up there, but you can still see those cocked eyes. And so when we riding around the whole city looking, I'm like, no. And now I'm tired. I'm sleepy because we've been riding for a long time because Big Papa was ready to fight, you know. And so we finally made it home and we, of course, had to, when I went back to the school, we had to go to the police station. The police were there to take us to the station. And that's when I found another young lady at my school. And she also got away. We both was in the car together. And then we ended up becoming friends. And when we got there, I noticed another young lady from my school who was in my class. I noticed she hadn't been there. And come to find out, he actually raped her. And so she was in bad condition and it really messed her mind up, you know. And in my head, I was just thinking that I was going to get in trouble for being late. It was my fault for being late. But then I had to realize none of that was my fault. I was minding my own business, headed to the place that I was supposed to have been headed to, a little late, but headed to the place I was supposed to have been headed. But you know what? In my head, I'm thinking I was covered under the blood, physically and spiritually. I thank God for the blood, because if it had not been for the blood, both ways, who knows what would have happened. And that's what I always say. I thank God for the blood, because the blood saved my life. It covered me in that situation. And going through that situation, it never broke me down. Someone would, just, I guess because it didn't really happen physically, but the fact that he snatched me, exposed me, and I had to touch him and things like that, it didn't break me. It didn't. And I was able to, after that, my thing with the young women, I've always watched your surroundings. I don't care where you're going. It's not that you have to be paranoid, but just watch your surroundings. Because I really was not paying attention. I was not watching my surroundings, because I don't even know where that young lady he was talking to ever went. And I just was minding my own business, just walking. So now, of course, I take, steps. And then, if I'm by myself, of course, I'm looking behind me, making sure there's no one behind me or around me and things like that. Not being paranoid, but being cautious, being safe. And I just thank him for the blood. I really do. I really do. And I thank God nothing went further than that, just him getting scared. Because I think it was God that gave me what to say, because I didn't know what to say and what to do, but other than what this man was telling me to do with this knife in his hand. And then after a while, we got a phone call that the guy was caught. And we had to go to the police station. Me and the young ladies, we went to the police station. We had to do a lineup. And it was a lady officer who, she had her arm around me when they, how they do a 1-by-1, come up to the window. And it was when he walked up, she said my body just jumped. And it was easy for me to identify those cocked eyes and the coats he was wearing. We had to identify the coat as well. And the young lady that he actually raped, when they laid the coat out, she broke down just from the coat alone. So I don't know how she was when she saw him physically again after that. But I know, it kind of startled me when he walked up. But that was it. And then, of course, we had to go to court. And of course, he was found guilty. And come to find out, I'm on the west side of Chicago. This man lived on the south side in Inglewood with his girlfriend and children. And he was well above 23, 24, something like that. And I was just a teenager going to school, freshman in high school. So I don't know, the mindset of those that want to do that, and they say it's not a control thing or anything like that. It's a sex thing or whatever the case is. But I don't know what was going on in his mind. But he spent time. And then after so long, after some years went by, we did get a letter in the mail stating that he was being released. And the police officer that came to the school to help me in the situation, he stayed in the area and he came around periodically just to check on us, to see how we were doing, see how we were coping and things like that. So there is help. There's help. There's people that's concerned for your safety, concerned about you in anything you're going through. There is always someone that's around to help, and if you don't know what to do or what to say, you ask God. He'll give it to you. I promise you he will. He will give it to you. He'll give you what to say, how to say it, or who to ask. Like I said, there's always someone around to be there for you. You may feel like you're alone. You are most definitely not alone. Like I said, when I went to the police station and saw the two girls that went to my school, one I knew personally, and I see he didn't just try to get me. He tried to get one lady and he got the other lady. But I just thank God that it didn't happen, because I was covered under the blood. And I just thank him for the blood. You all be blessed.
find no fault in him. He is your neighbor, I deem him your savior. I find no fault in him. 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 I'll take all my chances, and waving palm branches, I find no fault in him. I find no fault in him. Is he king of the Jews? I find no fault in him. 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 Please don't deceive us, just give us Barabbas. I find no fault in him. I find no fault in him. I find no fault in him. I find no fault in him.
Hi guys, my name is Rebecca Jones and you're watching the Sir Walter Jones Show. Bye.
He's got something to say. He's got something to say. Sir Walter Jones. Sir Walter Jones. A week, always on time, but his time is not free. So Walter Jones, always on fleek. Latest trending topics have you jumping out your seat. He's got something to...
Fellas, does it seem like you can't get a good woman? Ladies, wonder why you can't keep a man? Then read The 4 Women That Men Desire, Volume 1, by Sir Walter Jones to figure out how to break the cycle. Go to Amazon.com to get your copy today.